Reese, how's it going, my man?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
Great, great. How's your week been?
Yeah, strong. Um, yeah, strong. Yours?
Yeah, it's been good, man. Just doing another hiring process, so just going through that, creating all the SOPs right now. So the works, the works.
Nice.
Yeah, man. How can I help you today?
I'm just jumping on in case Damon's here, just to listen in or anything, but nothing from me actually.
Okay, gotcha.
Um, well, I might share something I discovered yesterday, which is using like the account search to like reverse engineer like a lead list search. I don't know if you, I'm guessing you've done that before.
Uh, Sorry, say that again. What is it?
So yesterday I was playing around with the account search to kind of reverse engineer because when we go into account search, we can filter by industry, not only industry, but technologies used. Like we can identify brands that are using Shopify Klaviyo, for example, and also then target filter with the revenue ARR as well.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then,
yeah, I got what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so we're just going to experiment with that, reverse engineer on a coffee search, and then
Yeah,
load that in.
yeah, that can definitely be yeah, you can be pretty methodical with that. And I mean, we haven't used that in a very long time, just because we haven't had to given our market. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely test that out. And yeah, it's just gonna it takes a little bit more time because then you gotta like you can grab the decision makers from that. But I mean, it'd be worth it because then you guys have more of a targeted search. You might not even need
Yeah.
to build like a super big list, right? Because even if you just have the right fit with the right people, you can kind of
Yeah.
small enough and then just have the messaging so like punchy. Like you're a copywriter, so you get it, man. You can just develop copy that's like so good for a small targeted list, and then that's what
Yeah.
you need, right? So yeah, test that out. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah, we'll do. Cool.
Awesome stuff. So anything else, or you're good for now?
All good for me. Caleb, I don't know if you wanted to run through anything.
Yeah, I just had a quick question as far as if you guys have any I guess tactics as far as getting a higher connection rate on LinkedIn. So we have at least I had low volume this week. We were figuring out some things on that kind of the beginning of the week. So what
Mhm.
I've been doing since I've noticed a lot of leads are just automated systems or general company phone numbers instead of the actual owner. I've been
Mhm.
trying to send a connection request on LinkedIn right after to at least try to get whether it's one owner, two owners, whatever the case might be, I send one to them. So I don't know if you guys have like a typical message that gets a higher connection rate, just so I can have like more conversations versus just, automated systems or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. Are you set up on Ulink with the team or no?
I think we're all just going to use Damon's
Okay.
login for right now. I haven't dove in. I know Reese was kind of doing the whole new list thing, and he said he's going to have a new list for us today. So I haven't really dove into the U-Link side quite yet.
Okay. If you like, maybe you can share your screen, kind of show me what you're using at the moment, and then I can give you better feedback in that regard.
Yeah, are you talking about as far as like my connection message?
Yeah, connection message, specifically how you're reaching out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I just shoot like from my personal LinkedIn, I just shoot a connection request and say, hey, first name, um, just sending over a connection request. Would love to learn more about, and then I say the company name. That's
Okay.
pretty much the same message that I've been sending out.
Okay. So the people that you're reaching out to, what's your method behind that? Is it just like are you methodically reaching out to kind of what Reese was explaining, like looking at specific companies and then going and finding like the founder or something like that? Like how are you grabbing these people?
Yeah, it's just from the CRM. So we have the LinkedIn profile of the actual owner.
Okay.
So the only reason I was doing it was because I started to notice automated systems or just the general company phone number. So I
Mhm.
was trying to, I guess, um, tailor a way where I could have like the actual conversations or just improve my chances of having conversations with the decision makers.
Okay, okay, got you. All right, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I would just make it as personalized as possible. That's like always going to be the best approach. So, I mean, doing it with the automation is always easier, but what you can do is like for example, if their you're targeting a specific niche, if they're in like coffee, food and beverage, whatever, you can basically say, you know, hey John, saw that we also have a few connections there in North Carolina or whatever, right? If you have like maybe a few mutual connections, would you be open to connecting? Like we'll keep it really simple, but the kind of using somebody's location is a good tactic for that. If you notice like where they are, you can be like, hey man, I saw we're both in like what state are you in?
Texas.
Texas. So there you go. Target people in Texas, right? Hey man, saw that we're both in this in the you know the I don't know if you guys call it, what's the Lone Star State or what do you guys call it? Like, yeah. So there you go. Like you use kind of terminology like that. You know what I mean? Like kind of they feel like you're one of them. You know what I mean? If you could feel that within the first message, like for example, I get people in Toronto trying to connect with me all the time on LinkedIn, and I know really good. Like they call it the six here, right? The six. So yeah, hey, I saw that you're in the six, right? To me, that's a pretty like personalized message. I don't typically see that through like any type of automation. So I'm like, oh, cool. You know, he's speaking my language. He's in the area. You know what I mean? So that will
Yeah.
get you a higher connection rate. Joining groups as well. If you can join like e-commerce groups, that kind of stuff, and then filter people specifically, be like, hey man, I saw that we're in the same e-commerce food and beverage group. Just shooting over a connection request. Would love to connect, right? Simple
Okay.
that. We actually ran a group search recently for our team, and now it's a little bit more broad for our market, but one of our guys had a 96 percent connect rate,
Just
which was
Lord.
crazy. I've never seen that before. So that was out of like I think he had sent or the automation had sent like over 400 connection requests and he had a
Wow.
96%. Yeah. So yeah, like group searches can work pretty well if you can get in like some solid groups. So and then again, it's about that rapport right off the bat. Hey man, saw that hey John, saw that we're in the same group, which is checking out company name. Would love to connect if you're open to it. Or hey John, saw that we're both in the Lone Star State. Would love to connect with you. Are you open to it? Question mark. You know, Caleb,
Okay.
sign off. You know what I mean? Just personalization will go the furthest with people, right? So
Okay. Yeah, because I'm only doing it for like I'm not actually doing like the search or anything like that. I'm only doing it off of the leads that we have for cold calling. So I'm making the cold calls plus trying to just um do the LinkedIn for those specific people just to try to get I guess a higher connection rate with the decision maker versus like trying to pander through the automated system or the front desk person who's just like, yeah, I don't know if you guys have something for that where like the person that answers says, yeah, they're not available right now.
yeah, the
Um,
gatekeeper.
yeah, I've tried to get through them, but they're just like, sometimes they're just not available. So I've been calling like the next day and the next day and the next day. But if you're kind of continuously getting that, what's your guys' strategy for that?
Let me know. Tell me, what do you do when you get a gatekeeper? How do you typically approach that?
Yeah, I basically asked them, hey, I was just looking for Andrew, for example. Yeah, Andrew, like for example, there's one gal, she's like, yeah, Andrew's not available. He's roasting all day long. This is coffee brand. So, okay, is there typically a better time to reach him? Or, should I check back tomorrow? No, he's typically always busy. His whole time is just roasting, for example. I'm like, okay. No worries. I mean, I don't even know if broad transition is like, I don't even know if you really have the answer to this, but I see you guys are running Klaviyo. I guess who takes care of, the email side for you guys, and then try to dive into that. So I try to pry at least like if I keep prying as far as getting a hold of the decision maker, I try to then pry on, um, who takes care of the email side for you guys, and then kind of dive into that. Okay, no, you don't get the contact, blah blah blah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so that's not a bad kind of last resort. Typically what I like to do is I like to frame it as if like the CEO or whoever I'm just gonna use John as the example, always use John. John already knows who I am, right? That's how you want to frame it in the gatekeeper's mind. So typically the way that we go about it is like, the person picks up, it's like, hey, it's so and so from blah 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 blah. How may I help you today? Right? Yeah, just looking for John, right? Straight kind of cut and dry, like, hey Mary, just looking for John. And then sometimes the confidence just in that alone, people will be like, oh, let me check, right? Or sure,
Yeah,
let me pass you through, right? If you're just kind of like straight shooter with it, yeah, just looking for John, right? We never want to ask, hey, is John Smith available? You don't know him, right? It's
yeah,
very apparent, right? So it's, hey, just looking for John, right? Then they might check, they might put you through, or they might go, sure, can I ask what this call's regarding? Like, yeah, we're just continuing our conversation, just looking for John, right? Now you don't have to go into specifics about the conversation. You could have just been sending him a bunch of emails and having a conversation with yourself. But the point is that, yeah, I'm just looking for John, just continuing our conversation, right? And that might be enough. Okay, shoot you through. Or again, it's like and if or like the or the charts,
Right,
right?
right.
If this, then this, right? So then if you get sent through, then you get sent through. If not, then they might go, I ask who's calling, right? Yeah, it's Caleb from Win at e-commerce. We're just continuing our conversation. Right? Just vague, straight to the point, right? Don't justify, don't try to over explain. Less words are better because they're gonna see you as more of like somebody in authority that's just like continuing the conversation, right? That always typically works out the best. At that point, they should at least, like if you're confident with it, they should at least be trying to go see if the person's available and or trying to push you through, or if they're actually not available, right? Which might be the case that you're seeing a lot, right? And they go, yeah, he's not available. He's roasting coffee all day, right? Like, okay, here's what we can do. So this is where you're gonna kind of take the authority from. So okay, here's what we can do then, Mary. I have time and date available to continue my conversation. If you could just pull up John's calendar for me, when can I just go ahead and shoot him an invite? I got Monday at 1 or Tuesday at 2. What's gonna work best for him just because you got his calendar on hand, right? Take a look, right? And ask them. But you want to lead it in that instance, right? Here's what I can do, right? Because my time's pretty valuable here. It's kind of the frame that you're coming from, right? Here's what I can do, Mary, is just to continue our conversation. If you could pull up John's calendar, I'm looking at Monday at 1 or Tuesday at 2. I just want to make sure we can get back and chat a little bit more about how we're going to be able to scale up company name, like we were talking about through our email. So which time works best for him? Boom. Get her to pull up the calendar and take a look.
Hmm.
Right?
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, worst case scenario, be like, okay, all right, not a problem then if you don't have his calendar on hand there, Mary. What I can do is I'm just gonna shoot him a voicemail. I just want to make sure I'm not bugging you. Where can I just shoot a text over to him? What's the best number? Right? Confidence, get his direct line, right? We're not letting him off the hook until we get the decision maker, right? But it's all about frame and authority, right? It's all about, I'm here to see if I can just continue our conversation with John. Right.
Yep.
And again, frame is like everything. So if you can try that out, give that a shot.
Okay. Yeah, I've noticed that where if you keep pushing, most of the time people try to check if the person is. I don't
Mhm.
know if it's the way I've said or framed or whatever, but most of the time I'm getting people who like are checking, or trying to patch me through to the voicemail or whatever the case might be. On the text side, are you guys dropping text and then are you guys keeping the A2P opt-in on, I guess, with
Mm.
the text?
Yeah, I think the first one we initially have to, and then after that it's
Right.
yeah, so but we have it automated to where we have like a power dialer. So we have a power dialer to where the guys will call and then it'll automatically after the call, if they don't pick up, it'll shoot them a text and be like, hey John, just tried reaching out. Was curious if you're looking for growth this year with company name. Right? Shoot them a text over. Sometimes it might go to their company number. Sometimes it might go to their original number. And then we'll have like an email follow up, like maybe an hour later, something like that as well. So that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, the A2P, I think we kind of have to leave that on, which is kind of the crappy thing about it, but that's just the laws now. So it's just
Yeah.
consistency, yeah, and
Yeah.
perseverance. But yeah, again, just the one thing you mentioned there, just with like, keep pushing on the call. Try to be politely persistent is the best way.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? So you're just coming at it from because some gatekeepers might be a little tougher than others, and you just want to basically come at it from like, we're just continuing our conversation. Like you're kind of detached. You're just like, yeah, man, we're just continuing our conversation. I have this time and this time available. I just wanted to reach back out to make sure we could connect, like make sure we continue our conversation, right? And then you want to keep it as vague as possible, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Anything else I can help with?
No, no, I'll let everybody else kind of get their questions in.
Cool. Awesome, man. Awesome.
Thanks, Aiden.
No worries, Reese. No worries.
See you later.
It's great stuff.
How's it going, David?
Going okay. I've got Joseph on the line here. Joseph was our first hire
Hey, Aiden.
for a salesperson. And yeah, he's already impressed with the coaching you're giving, Aiden. That's great stuff.
Awesome stuff. Well, welcome, Joseph. I know you're gonna crush it for Dave. So looking forward to seeing.
Definitely. Yeah, looking forward to that, man. It's nice to meet you finally.
Likewise.
So we don't really have a lot today. I really just wanted to let you know we're making progress. We got him. Joseph's been working on, understanding a lot about what we're doing company wise, what our value prop is, etc. Simultaneously, we're cleaning up a lot of the tools and data that he has. But he's going to be making calls next week, so we're excited.
Nice.
The only thing that Yelly asked me to bring up in this call is on Ulink. We noticed something changed in the messaging.
Mhm.
So we have the steps that we laid out, and it's the same for Messenger, for InMail, and for the connector campaign. But we noticed that some of the messages that have gone out are using different copy. Nothing problematic, but it's just like, our normal one is, hey, first name, have a quick question about company. Is this the best place to ask? But when I looked at someone, it was like, hey, name, just found company, great work. If you're open to it, let's connect. And I don't see where we have that in our steps. So
Hmm.
was there like something that just changes automatically in here, or
No, maybe
or
did you have maybe an old campaign that was still running that maybe you didn't shut off or maybe could potentially still be on?
we only have the one campaign, out of the original 1400.
Oh,
We
I think I might know what it is. So sometimes if you have a pre-existing connection request or pre-existing in-mail request, and then it's old and it hasn't been withdrawn, and it had the old copy in there, that could be it if they finally accepted it. That would be the thing that might make sense. So that way it looks
Oh,
like
she's someone. So she's someone we could have reached out to
before.
3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah,
before
and they're
that.
just now accepting it by chance. That could be the case. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right, that makes sense to me. Because it does look like the company that we would have had on an older list too. So
Okay.
okay.
Awesome stuff. So great. So still on it with the Ulink stuff. Do you have any questions about like with Joseph doing any of the outbound dials to current company lead lists or any of that stuff that I can give you some guidance on?
I don't think so. I mean, the first thing we're working on is the script, of course. We have um, um, a generic one that seems to be pretty good, but we want to customize it a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're gonna start with calls to low risk companies, just to learn some of the questions that we didn't anticipate, some of the obstacles that might come up. So we're going to sort of hold off on the wish list companies until we kind of get like a week or so of calls in, or a couple of days of calls.
Okay.
And then we'll go more aggressive at the companies that we really want.
Awesome.
But we're starting with that list of people who are familiar with us, that we have been getting emails from HubSpot, and there's like over 11,000 contacts there. So
Okay.
there's enough for a few days of phone calls.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, and gauge your feedback and your stats by the hundreds, right? And Joseph, this is good for you, right? So most people want to gauge by, I did 30 calls, 50 calls, 100 calls. Well, the best of the best gauge by hundreds to thousands, right? So that's where you're going to get the most solid data. So even if you are testing different scripting, like different openings and whatnot, given your market, right? Whether you be a little bit more of a direct approach, maybe you're a little bit more of a passive approach, test the script out for 200 prospects here, another 200 on this side, and then you can cross-reference and see, this is our answer rate with this. this is our acceptance rate and conversion rate with this one, and
Mhm.
start doing the process there. Another note as well, when you're doing, and I don't know how targeted the HubSpot list is or whatnot, or what you guys are doing on that end, but try your best to match up the area code of the number to where the people reside, or even their company resides, because they're more likely to pick up with a familiar area code number as well, which is what we've been doing. So that's just
Yeah. So we can generate some numbers. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. Yeah, that's an interesting way to go. But since we're using Google Voice, I can generate, a bunch of numbers for Joseph.
cool. Awesome. Are you guys using Apex or just HubSpot right now?
Well, we've been using everything that we had has already been in HubSpot. We're locked in to use it through we're contracted through, I think, October.
Okay.
So we didn't want to lose the history there yet, but we are going to work towards shifting to Apex.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because then you can get the numbers in there and I can show you all that. I mean, it's all pretty straightforward, but okay, cool. Let me
Yeah, and that's something, Joseph and I haven't gotten to that part yet, right? So he knows some of the tools that we have, but we haven't gotten into that one. But that's good to do it that way, because if we can generate phone numbers that are similar, as long as the callbacks come, if people call us back, that the callbacks come to a number we can answer, we're okay.
100%, 100%
Yeah.
stuff. Okay. Anything else? Anything else I can help you with?
No,
Not for me. Joseph.
no, I'll say, probably this next week is just gonna be spent getting the hang of the usual sales processes, and then once I get a good understanding of how that is, then I'll be able to come back with some more detailed questions to really understand everything and try and shorten this sales cycle, of course.
100%. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're gonna have like your ramp up process and ramp up period, right? Just to get familiarized with everything, like you said. So yeah, like just for context, like what I like to tell my team, within that first week, get familiarized with the CRM, the system, the automations, what the follow-ups look like, lead nurturing, all those things, and then just keep it for your first week, right? Higher volume, the better. Like for our team, we do like a minimum of 100 dials a day, but sometimes they're doing like 200, which is awesome. For you, first week, get 50 a day under your belt. Just get used to the process, right? And focus on the process. Don't worry about the outcome, right? Focus on the process, getting good at how to handle tough prospects, tonality, framing, authority, right? All those things within the fundamentals of doing outbound dials. Get solid on that first 50 calls a day and just focus on converting 1, 2 max, just in your first week. Don't think about,
Yeah.
I need to do 100 within the first week. Don't worry about that. Just worry about getting good with the fundamentals and then converting. And then the next week, now ramp it up, right? Now go for higher volume. Now you're looking at, okay, I want to book at least 2 to 3 calls a day, and then you start to ramp that up, right? So really make that your priority. And yeah, just feel good about the process, man. This is the best thing about this skill, is that it translates. I tell my team this too. The short little outbound dial, those fundamentals, they translate to the discovery call that you'll eventually grow into. And it's just magnified. All the fundamentals are magnified on a longer form call. Same thing with the sales call. When you transition into closing, that gets magnified over a 45 to an hour time limit of how you can use your fundamentals to convert and close prospects. So the work that you're doing now, right, is going to translate into you becoming this person that's going to be able to close big deals for David's company, right? So that in itself is a really important framework to understand, right? So it's like long-term kind of growth minded, but you're doing the work now to get to become that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. It makes sense.
Awesome. Great stuff. Any other
Appreciate
questions?
it.
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome stuff. All right, guys.
I'm gonna jump.
Yeah.
And have a great weekend, everyone.
You as well. Take care. Cheers.
All right.
Awesome. Alrighty. Awesome. But yeah, Joseph, do you have anything else for me, man? Just while we're here, you're pretty good.
No, I'm pretty good. So I guess the one question that I would have is just to clarify the sales process the way it's laid out, because it did show me the tracker. It's obviously the initial intro call, That'll move into the discovery call. That's more of understanding if they're a fit for the company. Then that'll move to the sales call. That's the attempted close, obviously. And then from there, obviously, if you have to schedule something after, preferably not. But, that is that a good gauge of how it is?
Exactly. Yeah. You just do that outbound. You just want to see if they're a good fit, right? And I don't know too much about your experience. Have you done outbound
So
dials?
yeah, okay, so I guess that's a good place to start. So I've done my career has been in sales slash hospitality, but more sales.
Okay.
I've done in-person sales with AT&T retail. Carnival Cruise Line, I worked there for a few months. That was $150 a day plus. My most recent was I worked, I don't know if you've heard of the company, but Kaseya. They're based in Miami. They're an IT software company.
Okay.
I was working with them since this last year, and that was really where the majority of my sales acumen came from. They have a lot of resources. So, I'm not foreign to, sales processes. For me, it's more of understanding how this particular one works so that I can do best at that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So basically in this role, yeah, man, it's that initial outbound dial just to see if it's even a fit. And that's the frame you need to come from, right? Don't come from like, oh, I'm bothering them, or it's a cold call. It's bothersome. Don't do that. You're coming from, hey, I was just checking out your company. Seems like we might have some alignment. I'm not too sure, but I was just curious of where you're at with XYZ kind of thing, right? You're just trying to see if you can help. And in that instance, that's where your frame shifts, right? And then it's just a couple minutes just to see if it's even a fit, right? And then, yes, into the discovery call, you're going to set, be like, okay, well, yeah, John, basically just after those, I'll frame it better. Got it, John. So yeah, if we were able to help you solve problem, get result, you wouldn't be totally against exploring an option for that, just to see if we can provide a solution that might be able to help you out. Yeah, it sounds great. Okay, awesome. So what I can do here, John, is I can set you up for just a quick 10-minute call, just to kind of run you down what the solution might look like, just so that way we're confident we can get you to solution that they're looking for. Does that sound fair enough? Yeah, awesome. All right, looking at the calendar, Monday at 1 or Tuesday at 2, which works best for you. Boom, book the call. Discovery call. Yep, exact same thing. You're just going to dive a little bit deeper, right? And again, you're going to frame it. Yeah, listen, John, just so when we were chatting a little bit more on blah 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 on our last call. Basically, I just want to make this call valuable for you and worth your time. So I just want to understand a little bit more about your offer, your targeting, what you're currently doing, just to see if I can improve that. Maybe even bring in X amount of revenue, whatever you want to frame it as.
Mhm.
You mind if I just go through that, and then we can decide if this is even gonna make sense going forward? I can send you a little bit more information after the call as well. Does that feel good? Yeah, sounds good. Okay, awesome. Boom. Take them through the discovery, right? Discover them, and then I'm sure you've seen the prescription part, right? Prescribing. Have you seen the scripts and everything?
No, he still has to. That's one thing. I still have to get access to the platform itself. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, request access for that, and I'll get you in.
okay.
But yeah, you're gonna see that in the sales process. But in the prescription part, you just want to give them, again, you're prescribing what it is that they told you. So who they are, the pain that they're going through, and the solution that they want. So it's going to sound like it's made for them. You're not going to describe the product, but you're going to prescribe their solution and how they're going to get there, essentially what they're going to experience. Right. So yeah, John. So basically what we do is we specifically work with digital marketing agencies that are primarily just relying on referrals and don't have a ton of time to implement any systems themselves to generate new clients. So that way they can essentially have a system that will get them anywhere from 2 to 3 clients a month on autopilot with some leverage in place so that you can get your time back. And the way that that looks is boom, 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 point, benefit, benefit, benefit. And then you're kind of silent. They're going to ask you maybe a couple questions. What does this cost? Blah, blah, blah. Right. We go, yeah, great question, John. I mean, typically for agencies that are interested in this type of solution, we would jump on a planning session. It's a little bit more in depth where we can actually build out the solution in front of you. And that way we can give you a better idea as to what this is going to look like. And I don't know if you remember from earlier in the call, I mentioned this is more of like a custom solution. So with that
Yeah.
being said, I can go ahead and I can have this built out for you with our founder and CEO, David. And we'll take a look at how we can solve problem and get result, and then you'll get a better understanding as how much is that gonna be price wise for you. Does that sound fair enough? Sounds great. Okay, awesome. So I'm just looking at the count and then book the next call. Same
Yeah.
process, right? It's the same thing, just magnified. on the discovery
Gotcha.
call, right? And then when you get to the sales call, it's very similar. We're just going to reignite the pain and the problem and provide the solution on that call. And then it's just handling the objections, which really is just they're basically trying to justify reasons as to why they should or shouldn't on the call. And we're just going to guide them through it and make them feel like they're making the decision on their own, right? And just ask them
Makes
questions,
sense.
right? And then they're going to feel like, what are the next steps? Joseph, what are the next steps? And we're like, well, we can get you started right now if you'd like. What does that look like? Yeah, we can just bring up the agreement. We'll process the first installment and then blah, blah, blah. What next steps into onboarding?
Yeah,
Pull it
that
up
makes sense.
with them right there, onboard them up. But I don't know what David has had you doing as of yet. I don't know if he's just having you setting. Like, are you just setting for now and then growing into?
We're purely just setting everything up. It's mainly been an issue of getting the HubSpot contacts and companies properly set up so that as I'm prospecting, I'm
Yeah.
actually prospecting on a company level. Before he just had it set up by the contacts, and there was like 5 for the same company spread out. So we're still organizing the CRM so that as I dive in, we can actually track everything that's happening through the sales process.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, just focus on doing those outbound dials initially, just setting for David, I guess, at that point in time.
Yeah.
That'll be, do that, man. And you just hammer that and you stay consistent with that, be proactive, be a problem solver. And if you just show up every day, be consistent, dude, and you're coachable too, right? Taking good feedback. There's no reason why you won't see a massive success, especially with David's experience and his product and everything like that. You guys can crush it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for you, man. You got a really great opportunity here with David, and yeah, looking forward to hearing more about your results and everything.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and hop off. That was all the questions I had, but it was nice to properly meet you.
Likewise, my man. Have a great Friday. Take care.
You as well, man, and happy weekend too.
You too. Bye bye.